Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, don't remember whether you remember this laptop. I picked this and another laptop up last year, a cheapie off eBay, 2 for £10. The other laptop was a Dell Pentium 3, which made a nice little retro gaming laptop, which I passed on to someone. I actually bought the lot specifically for this laptop because I do have a little bit of history with this model. I had a load of these back in the late 90s when I used to buy and sell refurbished computers. But so I picked this up, like I said, last year, just as a bit of a nostalgia thing, and because it was dirt cheap. And unlike the Pentium 3, which I powered up and it just worked, this one, we put some juice in it. You see, you've got a LED come on there, but it's dead. You just have a battery light there. Interestingly, the battery light's on with the DC connector, but the DC in light next to it is not actually illuminating. So we unplug it, plug it back in, and we just get the battery light lighting up. So obviously we do have a fault in this, but here's the problem. This is a 486 laptop from mid-1990s. Most of these are dead now. It's basically due to the batteries used inside them, and I actually got this out to have a fiddle with it the other day, because I remember when we first got this, I could not get the battery out. I tried and fiddled, and I could not get the battery out. Anyway, I had a fiddle again with it, like I said, the other night, and I managed to get the battery out. It's still being a bit of a pain, but essentially what had happened is the battery had managed to corrode itself in place. And now obviously it's being awkward again. There we go. The battery had actually corroded itself in place. Now, can't actually see any corrosion there, but when you actually look on the laptop itself, there's a load of green corrosion on the spring contacts there, to the point where actually a couple of the spring contacts don't spring anymore. The corrosion's actually made them pretty much fail, because these are all meant to bounce in and out, spring in and out like that. The ones on that side there, the ones on that side are basically completely shot. The corrosion's got to them, it's actually eaten the brass spring terminals away. So I think this is going to be another case of one of these poor 90s 486 laptops, which is going to be beyond repair. But I thought what we'd do in this video is open it up and see quite how bad it is inside there. See if there's going to be any hope or any chance at all of perhaps getting this working again. Right. Let us grab a screwdriver and let's see if we can get inside this. Alright, that's 3. We could get really lucky, I suppose, and just be a bad switch on the side, but I don't think we're going to be that lucky. I think we're going to have some major issues in here. It's one of these things, I've got a few of this era laptop. They've all died of the same thing. They've all had a corrosion issue inside, and it's completely killed them. They've been beyond repair. A nice twin head, very compact twin head 486, that happened to that. I've got a nice Mytek 486, again same things happened to that. I have a horrible feeling, so this is going to be the same. That's broken, I think it's just come off. Yeah, that's alright. That's the slot for the memory expansion and the PMCA slot cover. I actually initially thought that's where the hard drive went. It's a very long time since I've worked on one of these. I'm not sure what it is now. I think that's just a PMCA slot, and the hard drive is actually internal. So we will always get to see what hard drive, if indeed this has still got a hard drive in it. What hard drive it's got. I'm not even sure what 486 processor it's got in it, to be honest. All I know is it has got a memory expansion card in it. To be honest, that's worth probably more than I paid for the two laptops together. We've got a 16 meg RAM expansion card there, and it doesn't just work on this laptop. There's a number of Toshiba laptops, T1900, the T1910, which is this is, T1950, T1960, T4500, 4600, 4700, 4800, 4900, and something called a Dynapad T200. So again, that's a decent card. Could be used in some other laptops to upgrade the standard memory. So like I said, that's worth what I paid for these two laptops. Anyway, I only paid a tenner for the two laptops to start with. Right, I've got that screw out. I think I've got all the screws out of it. Let's just see if we can get this open. Right, we've got that there. Let me get you up a little touch so you can see a bit more what I'm doing. There we go. Because ever so careful releasing these plastic clips, especially being that this plastic is now quite old and quite brittle. You're probably best using a plastic spudger or something like that, but I've been doing it for a long time, and I can easily do it without damaging it using a screwdriver. Right, I think we're nearly there. There we go. It's just a case of running a screwdriver down the gap, pushing in and twisting there we go, when you get to one of the actual plastic tabs. And I think we should be able to get this off now. Just one place in that corner, it's been a bit awkward. There we go. A little bit of plastic there that's just a bit cracked. I think that was there already. Right, okay, let's have a look now. So what have we got? Let me get you down again. So far so good. I can't see tons of green anywhere. Let's get this keyboard up. Oh right, okay. Let's disconnect the keyboard and get that out of the way. Now the battery is here, so I expect any of the damage really to be around this area here. This is basically where the power supply part is going to be, because we've got our 18 volts going in there. That's where our power switch is. That's where the battery is. So I'm guessing, and I can see capacitor sticking up there. So I'm guessing our issue is probably going to be in this area. So we could get incredibly lucky and it just be a bad switch there, but I very, very much doubt that. That's the keyboard out of the way. Some metal work here I think we need to take off. I can see a battery there already, although that doesn't look to be anywhere near where the battery compartment is for the internal battery. That's not all of them. There we go. Right. So we do have a hard drive there. We've got a Seagate ST9235A. Oh, and it's 209 megabytes. I'm guessing that's a standard IDE drive. I'm not 100% sure yet. Right. I suppose what we have to do is get this piece of metalwork off here so we can get down to where the possibility of the corrosion is, and we need to be able to get to that switch anyway so we can test it. That's one. That's three. A screw there. Let's see if that's one of the ones we need to take out. There's another screw on that side there. Ah, right, those are those just hinge screws then? I think we can just unplug, we can take them out, I think, and we can remove the screen, and I think that'll give us a bit more playroom. That's coming up there now. Right, there's going to be something else holding that. Ah, the screw there. Okay. Ow. And we've got some screws, so I've got to take the hard drive out before we can get that far. This is going to be a complete teardown, I think. One of them out. Can we lift the hard drive out at that? I think we should be able to lift the hard drive out now. Yeah. Oh, unfortunately, quite a chunky hard drive for a 2.5 inch hard drive. It's like nearly full height for a 3.5 inch. That's quite a substantial weight in it. That might be a very, very good candidate for a compact flash replacement, actually, if we could get this working. Right. I've got two more screws down there we can get at now. So this is probably going to be a case of pulling the whole thing apart down to just the bare motherboard, and then we can have a look quite how bad that is. Okay, that's out. Oh, and we've got another screw there I've missed. Right, I'm starting to see motherboard now. Take that out, and we can remove another piece of shielding. At least we can see what processor we've got here now. We have got a 486 SX33, so this isn't exactly going to be a high-end laptop. Let me see if I can get the screen actually out of the way. Yeah, I think that one should do us. There we go. I can disconnect that plug there, and that plug there. Right, that gets us our screen out of the way. So far I am not seeing a lot of damage. I'm not seeing a lot of corrosion in here. In fact, it's looking really quite good. Could we have something as simple as just a fault on the power supply down there, I wonder? Of course, I've still got to get down to that, and that is going to be a bit of an issue. So what else do we need to disconnect to get in here? I think that'll be the disk drive. Need to. I'm guessing this is the CMOS battery, although it looks rather large. Let's get that unhooked. So I'm guessing that's either CMOS or some kind of memory backup battery. It doesn't actually look like it's leaked, amazingly. We still can't get the actual board itself out. A screw there. I wonder if taking that out will achieve. Let's get this screw out. Let's see if we can get the. No, that's still well fixed in. Right, let's try and get the disk drive out and see if we can clear as much stuff out as we can. I've certainly not made this easy. Disconnect that. That is for, I thought it was for the disk drive at first. It's not. It's for the external little trackpad that you could put on the side of these. So let's get that out. And I'm guessing we can get the disk drive out. Right, we've still got screws holding that. Another screw there. That's the door for that. Right, what's holding that disk drive in there now? There's still something holding that. Right, what am I missing? I'm obviously missing something that's not allowing us to get this out. You'd think it'll all come out as one that... Right, hang on, that's free. There we go. So it's more of them little plastic clips by the look of it. Because that's free there. So the problem you've got is you don't want to prise too much because this plastic is going to be very brittle at this point. I'll take the battery out. I don't think there's any screws in there though. No, I've not got any screws in there. I can't feel anything under them labels. Ah, that's out. Right, this is weird. That seems to be fixed to... You'd think they'd make it easier to get the floppy drive out, because I mean that'd be something that'd probably have to be replaced more often than anything else, or at least got access to be cleaned. And they have seemed to have made this rather difficult to access. We're free there. That is coming up. That's free there, but that's not seeming to want to Not missed a screw in there, have I, or anything? We'll take that out so we don't break it. We can put it back in after. No, there's no little screws hiding in there. That's all coming up there, but that's not coming out from there. And this side still seems to be stuck in quite tightly. So I don't want to... Is that a screw I've just spotted? You dumb sod. There's a screw down there I've missed. Right. So far I'm not seeing tons of corrosion in this. We could get incredibly lucky and we just have some bad capacitors in that power supply section. And I don't know if this is plastic or it's some kind of metal alloy. It's really weird what this is, how this is constructed. I mean, when I had these back in the 90s, they were a lot newer. They were basically just slightly out of date working machines. I think when I bought them, they'd have been about 4 years old. So all I did was reinstall operating systems on them and sell them. I don't think I ever actually went inside one of them. There's one more screw there I've missed. Let's take that out. Right, let's try again, shall we? That's coming up there, but there's still something holding it in. Nothing there, nothing there. Not missed any more screws anywhere. I can't see any. This is coming up here. Just in case. See, that entire side there is now loose. There's something over here though that's holding it in position. That's free there, I think. I tell you what, folks, I'll pause the video and I'll come back when I've figured out how on earth I get this out of the case, and then we can actually look at the power supply and everything and see if there's anything we can do. So back in a sec. Right, finally made some progress. I ended up having to take all the connectors out the back and then a little bit of prizing, and we actually do have the main board loose now. In fact, I think I need to take that. What I'm guessing actually is, yeah, RTC battery. So this is the real-time clock battery. The other battery must be for like a memory backup or something like that. Probably, you know, it's got some feature that if the battery is failing, it can save itself to the hard drive and then power down, or it can save something into memory. This isn't looking good. I think this might be a bit corroded as well. Oh, damn. Connection's broke. See if we can get the rest. Ah, there we go. I should be able to fix that anyway. Right, so that is basically the computer there. So we've got 486 SX33 CPU there. And then we've got I presume that's going to be the video processor there. That's the video RAM. That's the onboard, probably 4 megabytes of onboard RAM. The board itself there actually doesn't look in bad condition at all. I can't see any corrosion on that. That's looking quite nice and tidy. Let's see. Ooh, down there doesn't look so good though. So then we've got like a bottom board here. I can already see we've got some serious corrosion going on around there. So I think that's where we're going to have to start our investigation. So we still need to get the rest of this out of here, so we can get down and we can actually get to that bottom board and have a look whether it's going to be savable or not. Let's see how much more of this we can get out. Certainly do not make these easy to work on. I don't like working on modern laptops, but a lot of modern laptops are a lot easier to work on than this. There we go, that's the, I think that's the disk drive. We still can't get that out. We still can't get that out. Let's try and get this, I think this is the CMOS battery in there. Yeah, we've got a 18650 or something equating to one there. Rechargeable, although it's no signs of leaking at all or anything. Right, let's carry on. Again, we still can't seem to get this main board out of here yet, and we really need it completely stripping down so we can get to in there where I can see the corrosion. So you look and you think, oh right, there must be a screw or something, but then when you actually look, you can't find anything that looks remotely like a screw. Poke round here, I've done numerous times to think, is there a hidden screw underneath, you know, which is holding holding something down, but I can't find one. Let's take that label off. I don't think we're going to find anything under it, but I'm running out of ideas here. No. Damn it. Let's get that back on. So no screws there. There's nothing under there. That's just like an extra sticker anyway. That wouldn't have been original. This is proving to be a bit of a swine to get into. What did that lift then? That bit's lifting, but it's not. See, that's free there. And there's no screw in there, so that should be free. So why on earth is this not coming out? Unless it's just sheer corrosion. It looks pretty horrific under there. So you can push on the... Oops. Oh boy, that's stuck. This is where all the corrosion is, where the old battery, the battery contact just pinged off there. It's completely corroded. I wonder if that's actually holding it in. I've not hidden the screw under there. No. Oh, yes. There he is. Underneath all that corrosion there. Wonder if this is going to actually come out. Ooh, that might be a no. Oh, hang on. Wow. Oh dear. Look at that. That is totally corroded. Right. But we're making progress now. There we go. There we are. Right, let's be careful with that. We don't want to damage the flex to the floppy drive. There we are. We're out. Thank God for that. So this is what we've been trying to get out. Let's get the rest of the laptop out of the way while we'll take a look at this. That's what we were looking at, all that corrosion down there. Right. Okie dokie, let's get this out of here. And then we can get down and see quite how bad the corrosion is. That's free. Another one there. Right. That doesn't look terrible. Put that over there. Now we really need to get this out of this metalwork. Got another screw there. And there. I think I need to take those two screws out for that PMCA slot. Okay, and let's see if we can get this. There we go, finally. Okay, you can see now what we're dealing with corrosion wise all here. Interestingly, it doesn't look like it's too bad on the actual main board itself. In fact, it doesn't look bad at all, and in fact I can't see a huge amount of corrosion or anything. It's just on those spring contacts there which are pretty bad. Now, what we want to check first is, does that switch there actually work? If that doesn't work, that could be our whole reason. Probe on there. Ooh. One probe on there. Ooh. This is where you always need 3 hands. Right. One probe on there. Check. One probe on there. Check. Yeah. So the power button itself works perfectly. I can see a couple of fuses on here. We've got a fuse there. We've got a fuse there. Let's check them. That fuse is good. And that fuse is good. I can't see anything in there that looks particularly iffy. I think I'll probably take that off there. Yeah, I might whip that connector there off. 1, 2. Because it's no good, to be honest, because it's completely shot now. Yeah, just bear with us a second, folks. I'll get the soldering iron warmed up, and we will pop off that connector there. So just bear with me a second. Right, okay, well I managed to get the connector off there. It literally just broke off. I managed to desolder two, which were those two, and it literally just fell off at that point. The legs were that corroded. But I'm not worried about using this on batteries. The battery obviously is completely shot. I'm not going to be able to find a replacement for it. I just want this thing to be able to work off its power supply. Sorry about that, folks, battery died. Anyway, where was we up to? So, like I said, we managed to get that off, and it actually doesn't look too terrible around there. So what I think we'll do, let's get a bit of IPA and just have a little bit of a clean in that area. See quite how bad it is, but it actually doesn't look bad at all. Better than I was really expecting to find in here, to be honest. Let's have a bit of a general clean up anyway. There isn't even that much corrosion on the board. I've seen a lot worse. As you can see, there's some coming off, but it's not as bad as I was expecting. In fact, most of that has actually just come straight off. What I would be tempted to do though, we've got, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure what make they are, but I've seen these capacitors before in Toshiba laptops. In earlier Toshiba laptops, and I've had issues with them. I'm going to just grab the soldering iron. Just go around this bit of the board and do the old smell test. See if we've got any possibly leaking electrolytic capacitors, which could actually be what caused the problem. Let's just have a warm up round here. No. Can't smell anything. There's something round here. Is it these two capacitors there and there? I'm definitely getting a, I won't call it a fishy smell, but something. There's definitely a smell around here. Yeah. Try this. Oh dear, that's it. It's that one. Oh, that's acrid. So we've got at least one of those capacitors in that area is leaking. Wonder how hard it'll be just to pop that off the board. Tricky looking by all the components around it. Got a leg there. I've got a leg there. Right, let me see if I can walk it off. Fortunately, this is, with the age of this is good old leaded solder. It's a lot easier to work with than the modern lead-free. And I have a feeling that's glued down. That capacitor looks like it's actually, they may have used some kind of glue or something to hold these in place when they built these. And I'm smelling the smell already from this side of the board, so we've definitely got a corrosion issue with this, sorry, a leakage issue with this capacitor. And it's not wanting to come off the board. I'll tell you what, folks, bear with me a sec. I'm just going to change the tip on my soldering iron to something a little bit smaller, and we can have a look at getting that capacitor out. And let's have a smell around there as well while we're here. No, that smells okay. Around here. I smell fish again. So I think we've got another leaky one there. Yeah, that one, which is right on the input. So that one is... That's the problem, is that these boards are so tightly packed, it's very, very difficult to get... that one's moving. Get something off without actually causing any damage. But that one, might as well get this one off. Or even that one's being tricky. And just basically what I'm trying to do is just heat each leg up and just walk the capacitor off the board. That one's out that side, this side's been a little bit more problematic. Like I said, I'm probably using too large a tip on this iron for this this job. I should really there we go. It's nearly out. Should really go and change my tip. That's out. There we go, he's out. I'm not seeing it. It stinks. Yeah, that's gone. So we've got 470 at 25 volts. Is that Nichicon as well? We just yeah, there's definitely a bit of a smell to that capacitor. What we can do now it's out though, we'll have a good... Oh, that absolutely stinks. Yes, that's definitely been leaking. It's probably going to be as well actually to try recapping the vast majority of this. They're probably all getting a little bit tired by this time. So I'll give one more go at getting that one out. And then I'll bite the bullet and I'll reset up with some other desoldering equipment. That's not wanting to come out easy. No. Bear with me a second folks, I'll get reset and everything and we'll see about getting those capacitors out. At least that one, perhaps them two. We know that one's bad anyway. We'll change those capacitors and we'll see if we've got any more signs of life. So back in us. Right, okay, let us get up to speed here what we've got done so far. Basically I've been through all the capacitors now on this board, and in fact I found 3 there which were definitely bad. That one actually lost its leg as I removed it, so I've not been able to test that one. Both these two, that one, if you look there, you can actually see it's been physically leaking, and there was electrolyte, wet electrolyte all over the bottom of that one. Same as that one. And them two actually do still measure as capacitors, but the ASR is really high on them. And like I said, they were actually physically leaking electrolyte. So I've taken them out, I've replaced those. Didn't actually have one like that, but fortunately there is just enough room. I've looked when I'm putting this back together to fit same value but like a more standard size there, but fortunately it does still fit. Unfortunately, as I will show you, I'll just reconnect all this up. We don't seem to have any change so far. I'll just get this connected up so I can show you. I'm hoping we can just work, basically, this is basically the brains of the laptop. We've got the main board just all stripped out and on the desk here. But we should still be able to connect it all up. if I apply power to it, we basically get exactly what I was getting from the start. We get that one light there to come on. If I press the power button, it makes no difference. We don't get any of the other lights. We should see that light, that LED at the end there, basically illuminate when we press that, or at least flash or do something. And absolutely nothing. There's no change at all. So what I started doing, let's get that unplugged, and this is where we're up to now. We'll get that top board off. So I don't actually think we need that on there to work on here, because it looks like all the power supply is this section here, and I think this is where we've got our fault. Because basically, here, let me get my test meter so you can see it. If I put it, should be able to see that, shouldn't you? Yeah, I think you can see that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And if I put this on the 20 volts range there, and I connect to ground up, so we can probe about. Right, I need to flip this over, because what I want to look at is on the back of the board. Make sure we've got that ground connected there. And that's our power button basically there. Now if I put power into here, we can probe around on the board in a few places, and we've got our 18 volts there. So that's our 18 volts coming in. If we actually go on the switch, and we go on this side of the switch here, if you look, we've actually got our, basically our 5 volts there. And from what I can see, the way the switching circuit works on this, if I hold my plus 5 volts there and I press the switch, see how it disappears? So the way that this should be powering up is, you've got a control signal there about 5 volts, and when you press the switch it pulls that low, basically pulls that signal low to ground. So that should be basically triggering the rest of the circuitry on the power supply here to come alive. And so I've had a good probe round. We've got our 18 volts there on that fuse. I've checked on the other side of the fuse. We've got our 18 volts there. We look on this fuse here. We've got basically nothing on either side of it. Now I'm expecting that's probably, when that's running, that's going to be something like 12 volts. And that's probably for the screen. So what I think, well, most of the electronics on here will probably be running at 5 volts. We'll probably have something like 12 volts for the screen, and we may have like something like a minus 12 volts, I think, which is used for the RS232 for the serial port. But at the moment it seems that all we're getting generated is like a basic 5 volts, which I think is what the power supply is going to use to then know that, you know, you've pressed the power button, triggered it, and it switches it on. And I don't think that's happening now. So what I've done up to now is I've started tracing that out, and I've found there's a trace that comes up here. I think, is it that one there? And that's, we've got 17 volts on that trace there. I did find it before. 17 volts on that one. Is it that one? Or is it that one? Basically what I did, I found one of the traces. There it is. We've got a trace there on the top of the board, which is on that control line. As you see, as I press the power button, that got pulled down to ground. So what I've got to do now is try and trace that line and try and find out where it goes. Now unfortunately it disappears underneath these capacitors here, so I'm going to actually have to pull out the capacitors which I've just refitted. I only changed, like I said, I've only changed 3 of the capacitors, but I actually ended up pulling every single capacitor out of here. And seeing I've really got to hand it back to him, but I've got Andy's decent peak ESR tester here at the moment. Like I said, I will give this back to Andy ASAP. But I actually tested all the capacitors on this, and them three were the only bad ones in the lot. Even all these, when I pulled them out of the board and tested them, they all test absolutely fine. So seeing they had no leakage or anything, I just put them straight back in the board. But I think I will probably have to at least pull that one back out, so I can see if I can follow that trace and see if I can actually figure out where it goes. And indeed, because this is where we had the corrosion, I'm really hoping we find something simple like that trace is broken due to the corrosion or something like that, and that's the reason why the rest of the power supply isn't actually coming on. If it's not that, I don't actually know how much further I'm going to be able to go with this without actually having some kind of circuit diagram of at least this power supply section to go on. Anyway, I'll get off and I'll get that capacitor out, and I'll see if I can trace further where that line goes and see what we get up to. So I'll be back as soon as I've found that. Back in a... Right, we're back. As you can see, things have really escalated a bit here. We've got all sorts of bits off the board. Basically, I've took there was a crystal oscillator there, there was another one there. I took those off the board because I wanted to see, basically tracing these tracers around, making sure there was no damage, and obviously there was a little bit of corrosion underneath there. Wanted to get rid of. We've done that. We got to the point where we found the signal basically over, I think it was here. Let me just get you up. You can't actually see the meter there, but when I get you press out a little bit, can you see the meter there? There we are. Right, because you can see we've got a 4.4 there. If I press the reset button, am I on the right pin there? Right, there we go, 4.43. If I press the reset button, you can see that disappear there. Now you might have noticed also there is a actual IC off the board there, because I got to the point where I got that signal, I think it was here, and I could see it, but I couldn't for the life of me then figure out where the hell it was going, so I ended up actually taking that IC off the board so I could trace that trace, and as I said, it goes here. Now here's where I think we've got a problem. I traced it further around and I found it actually appears on this pin here on that IC. As you can see, 4.73. If I hit the button, it takes it to ground. Now, next thing I did is I actually googled the part number for that part there. I've got it on my phone here. Just let me get my my phone out, and that, can you see that? That's the part there. The pin we're actually looking at is that top pin there, which is marked ITT1. It's an interrupt. Now what that chip is come on you silly phone, it is a Toshiba, and it's a 4-bit single chip. It calls it a microcomputer, but really it's a microcontroller. It's basically a little 4-bit processor with some inputs, some outputs, a little bit of RAM, a little bit of ROM, all in one little package there. And I'm guessing that is what's being used to basically control all the charging and discharge and power section of this actual laptop. Now I've checked and we've got 5 volts input on the correct pin to drive that chip, so that chip's getting voltage. There's obviously something like a 7805 or something like that somewhere in this part of the board that's taken the 18 volts coming in and just giving us you know, half an amp or so of 5 volts to basically run the basic logic on here. And then I'm guessing that there is basically them running the charge controllers and things like that to actually make your other voltages and you know, detect whether it's running off the battery, whether it's running off mains input, whether it's charging, whether it's discharging, all them type of things. But I think that chip's dead. Like I said, I've got power going into it. I can see that we're certainly getting a signal from the switch there on that pin on the chip. I'm getting absolutely zero other states on the chip when I actually have probed every single pin on there while pressing that. I'm getting no change on any other pin. So unfortunately, I think it's curtains for this. I think that little microcontroller there is dead. That's all I can think of. Otherwise, like I said, when that signal there was actually, seeing we're getting power to the chip, when that signal's going low when we press that button, something else on that chip should either go high or go low to tell one of the other chips what to do. And like I said, we're getting absolutely no reaction whatsoever from it. So like I said, I'm pretty sure that unfortunately that is dead. I'm going to put it all back together. As you can see, I've got quite a lot of components off here. I've got them capacitors back off, like I said, because I was trying to trace that trace. I was hoping with the corrosion damage around here from the leaking battery, I'd find a broken trace somewhere round here, and it was just a simple matter of, you know, the signal wasn't getting from the switch there to the actual controller. But no, like I said, we've traced it all the way through. I've checked every single trace around here. I can't find any damage at all. We're getting it right through onto that little microcontroller, and that's as far as it's getting. We're not getting any other activity. Like I said, sorry to say. So I'll put it all back together, because in the hope that I might be able to pick up another one of these computers, another 1910, possibly with a different fault, and I might actually still be able to make one good one out of the lot anyway. So anyway, I'll put all this back together and we'll come back after that. Right, I just thought I'd bring you back to show you I've actually managed to get it all back together. So we got the microcontroller back on there. I've got all the parts that I'd actually removed back on the board. So I'm going to basically put the laptop all back together, and we can, like I said, we can come back when it's all back together. I just thought I would actually show you I did manage to get that back on there. I don't often really show me doing surface mount work. It's not something that I'm really good at, and it's not something, you know, that I really like doing. I prefer like through-hole stuff, you know, older stuff really, but I can do it, you know, if I really have to. I did manage to take that off, clean it all up, and I've got it all there, and I've got all the pins nice and secure. But I am pretty sure that is actually what's at fault on this thing. In fact, I have a feeling that this might be a case of this was faulty when it was put away in a drawer, you know, probably sometime in the 90s, and forgotten about. And, you know, things like the capacitors have just happened through age, but this thing was actually faulty before then. I might be wrong, I'm not sure. One last thing I will just quickly do before I put this back together. I've got the plus and the minus there, which would be for the 12 volts from the battery. So I'm just going to tag some wires onto them, and I'll leave them out, and then when the whole thing's together we can just see if we can fire it up from 12 volts as though it was taking power from a battery. I doubt it will do anything, like I say, because I have a feeling that that's faulty, but we can try it anyway as a last ditch effort. So I'll be back when I've actually got this thing back together, or at least to some point back together. So back in a sec. Right, okay, I actually managed to get it all back together. That's taken me some time to do. I only have 1 or 2 screws left over, so we're not doing too bad. In fact, actually, those are just for the back that I haven't put back on. So we'll do that after. But unfortunately, if we put some power up it is exactly the same. We've not made any improvement to it, but we've not made it any worse, I don't think. What I did do though, as I was saying before, I brought 2 wires out the back, so we've got a ground there, and that should be plus 12 volts. And what I'm just going to quickly try and do is connect up basically 12 volts straight to that, so it basically simulate it having a fully charged battery in there, and just see if it does anything different. So it could just be a chance that that controller is partially dead, and it might be able to sense from. I very much doubt it, to be honest. I think bit of a lost cause, but we'll give it a quick try anyway. I'm just going to use my PC AT power supply here for this, because I know I've got 12 volts there. Let's get a good ground here. We'll have to kind of lash it up. And I wish I hadn't have taken that connectors that I had on here. I had some binding posts on here actually for wiring things up, but I removed them. We'll connect that to ground. There we go, like that. Under there. Let's just make sure this wire is good. I need some more jump wires actually for doing stuff like this. You know, with croc clips on either end, and the ones I've got are getting a little bit tired, but yeah, that's alright. We'll connect that to blue's 12 volts on this. There we go. We'll connect that. Make sure we're not going to short on anything. There we go. Right, so basically we're feeding 12 volts into where the battery would have been. So the connector that the battery fits on this is completely corroded. It literally, that's it there. You can see all the green on it. And when I tried desoldering this, half the pins just broke off. So you can see how bad all the corrosion is on there. I don't actually think that is what has killed this laptop anyway. Right, so we'll open it up and I will switch the power on. We're not showing anything on here. Whoa! Yeah. It didn't like that. Whew. Wow. I'm definitely giving it the 12 volts where it wanted the 12 volts. Because I marked it on the board. Yeah. That didn't work, did it? Oh well, never mind. I said it was worth a try. I don't even think the light's going to light up there if I... let's give it a go. Is it still going to bring the battery light on? I very much doubt it. No. It's dead. Oh well. One thing at least we know. We've got some good spare parts. I didn't actually have the RAM expansion card in there, so there's a very good chance that's still good. Actually, I did put the hard drive back in, but I might pull the hard drive out of here. I paid 10 quid for this laptop and another laptop. The other laptop actually I sold on to someone as a nice little Windows 98 gaming laptop. So I got my money's back, more than my money's back from that. That is worth over a tenner. I think I'll just basically have a look around and see if I can find another one of these, perhaps one in slightly better condition. Although there's a good chance any of these that we get are going to have similar problems. These batteries leak, and this is what's caused, you know, the corrosion to the board. Although I'm not entirely convinced that's what actually was the main problem with this. I have a feeling there was something wrong with it prior to that. The symptoms I was getting off that controller, I'd have expected something to react when the button was pressed there, with the signal going into that microcontroller, and knowing we've got power going to it, but it not actually wanting to do anything. Anyway, on that explosive ending, I think I'll leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed me watching me try and fail to get this thing working. So I will say thanks for watching and goodbye.